This aftershave made women want me, but it also made me impotent!
A price for everything, Mr. Goldenfold. A price for everything.
Something Rick at This Way Comes showcases what would happen if Rick took on the devil. It's another Season 1 episode where Rick and Summer have an adventure away from Morty, who this time around is stuck with his dad, who insists Pluto is still a planet. Hey guys, I'm Dave Klein, and I'll be breaking down episode 9 of Rick and Morty. But before diving into all the Rick madness, why not subscribe to GameSpot Universe for more Rick and Morty breakdowns? We won't even force you to sign a contract to sell your soul! Probably. The episode opens with Morty wanting help with his science fair project, and Jerry popping balloons on his iPad app. This is actually the first time we see this balloon popping game, which frequently shows up in future episodes as something Jerry does while everyone's sitting at the table. According to Dan Harmon in the DVD commentary, the butter-passing robot Rick has created is actually a joke inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, with the idea being that your life is actually pointless, you just don't know it. Beth suggests Morty work on the science fair project with Jerry, as he's insecure, instead of Rick. This leaves Rick with Summer, who needs a ride to her new job. This actually breaks continuity, as a couple episodes prior, in Raising Gazorpazorp, Summer was gifted a pink spaceship by the female Gazorpazorps.
Very well. Give the Earth people a spacecraft so they may head back to their weird planet, where women are kind of equal, but not really.
Summer's job at the creepy shop, Needful Things, is an amalgamation of references, with various props sprinkled throughout also as references. One of these is the Ray Bradbury book Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is where the title of the episode comes from. While the book is about a traveling carnival, it's similarly about a creepy man who shows up out of the blue and can grant citizens their secret desires, but with a price attached to it. Yet another reference here is in the Stephen King book Needful Things, which the shop in Rick and Morty shares its name with. In Needful Things, a friendly old man opens a shop and sells things far below their actual value. All of these things happen to be what the customer really wants, and the only thing the old man asks for in exchange is that they play a prank on someone else from the town. Which is all similar to in Rick and Morty, where the devil sells items for free that give people a special power that they want, but at a steep price. Finally, the main reference Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon talk about in the DVD commentary for the episode is Friday the 13th, the series. Which has absolutely no connection to the Friday the 13th movies, by the way. They just share the same name. In the show, Mickey Foster and her cousin, Ryan Dallion, inherit an antique shop from Mickey's uncle who has been killed by the devil. All the antiques are cursed, and after accidentally selling some of them unaware, they eventually try to recover the antiques in order to lock them away. The design of the shop, Needful Things, was directly inspired by the shop from Friday the 13th, with the artist being given episodes of the show in order to design the look of Needful Things. And as far as the various antiques I could find go, there's a hand on the floor of the shop that looks similar to Billy's gauntlet from Adventure Time. There's a frog sitting on top of the counter without a head, and minus that aspect, looks exactly like Kermit the Frog from the Muppets. There's a Pokeball on a shelf, except for this time it's gray instead of the iconic red and white. And finally, there's another possible Pokemon reference in a skull in a glass case that looks similar to Marowak's skull from Pokemon. While that one could be a bit of a stretch, in the commentary for the episode, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon directly say the Pokeball is on purpose, and go on to talk about how much the whole team loves Pokemon, so it definitely leads credence to the theory. Mr. Goldenfold is the first customer we see who wants something to make him irresistible to the ladies.
Some voids can't be filled with Jamba Juice.
This aftershave makes a man quite irresistible to women. Free of charge. One never pays here. Not with money.
Nothing to read into there. Thanks!
However, as is heavily hinted, the items are all cursed. Some of these curses are similar to episodes of The Twilight Zone, which isn't surprising considering Rick himself mentions that.
It detects and catalogs all your Twilight Zone, Ray Bradbury, Friday the 13th, the series voodoo crap magic. I thought you might want it so you didn't accidentally sell anybody, say, a typewriter that generates best-selling murder mysteries and then makes the murders happen in real life.
This typewriter is similar to the Twilight Zone episode Printer's Devil, in which a reporter is given a linotype machine that makes whatever is written on it actually happen. Of course, this is also a pretty common trope, and has been in countless shows and books, including the Goosebumps book, The Blob That Ate Everything, so it's likely more so meant to be a reference to the trope. The same goes for a pair of haunted boxing gloves, which loosely resembles a game of pool, and the haunted doll, which loosely resembles Talking Doll. After the devil tries to sell Rick a microscope, Rick is able to figure out how to reverse the curses, and begins to break them down beginning with Mr. Goldenfold.
My lust! My greed! I deserve this!
The serum should counteract the negative effects.
The music that plays in the background as Mr. Goldenfold cries about his lack of lust and other sins is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. After curing Mr. Goldenfold, Rick goes about telling everyone in the shop about the curses on the artifacts. Which leads to one of my favorite random Rick lines.
I find this all quite preposterous.
Oh, I say, good sir. Oh, harump. Oh, popo, topo, popo, popo.
Rick then sets up a shop to reverse all of the devil's curses, causing the devil's plan to be foiled and to try and commit suicide. Fittingly, on the wall of this room is a picture of Baphomet, which, in modern times, is often used to symbolize the devil. Immediately bored after having outdone the devil, Rick goes home and Summer helps the devil establish a new version of Needful Things, Needful.com. The office workers seen here are later seen again in the season finale, Rick See Business. After Summer is betrayed by the devil, she claims she's been Zuckerberged. This is a reference to Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, allegedly screwing over the Winklevoss twins after stealing their idea, as well as allegedly screwing his business partner out of shares and money after getting incorporated.
I'm the devil, biatch! What?
The devil goes on to play the fiddle, which is a reference to the song The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Meanwhile, on the Jerry and Morty side of things, the two end up on Pluto after Jerry continuously declares and tries to debate Pluto is still a planet. Jerry becomes a sensation on the planet, or celestial dwarf, simply for saying that it's still a planet. He gives speeches on the matter and is put on talk shows such as Good Morning Pluto. The song that plays in the background of Good Morning Pluto.
We're back on Good Morning Pluto, and a very good morning it is for our guest.
It's actually a variation on the theme Smooth Jazz from Dan Harmon's podcast Harmontown. Meanwhile, Morty is taken away by Scroopy Noopers, who is voiced by video game voiceover veteran Nolan North. The name Scroopy Noopers came from Dan Harmon making fun of the way Justin Roiland names things, as most of the names on the show come from Justin Roiland. When Scroopy Noopers is telling Morty about all the problems Pluto is facing due to rich corporations mining the planet, he says the following.
Mines like these suck plutonium up to the cities where corporations use it to power everything, from diamond cars to golden showers.
A golden shower being a sexual act where one person pees on the other for pleasure. Why you need plutonium for this, I'm really not sure, but hey, maybe R. Kelly's the man to ask. Jerry and Morty eventually get into a fight about if Pluto's a planet at a rich party, and Jerry utilizes an embarrassing moment from Morty's childhood to one-up his own son.
Well, son, what did you think when you were 5 and you pooped your pants and you threw your poopy undies out your bedroom window because you thought it was like throwing something in the garbage?
In the commentary in the episode, Dan Harmon reveals this is actually a story from his own childhood, as he thought everything out of the window was gone from his world. And finally, to wrap up this episode, Summer, feeling betrayed by the devil, asks Rick for help. Here, Rick can be seen watching ball fondlers, which was first seen in the previous episode's Intergalactic Cable. When Rick and Summer go to beat up the devil is giving a tech presentation and wearing a turtleneck to goof on Steve Jobs. Meanwhile, in the end credits, Summer and Rick go on to beat up other people they don't like. The second of these is a bully who looks kind of like an older version of Randall Weems from the cartoon series Recess. Weirdly enough, this portion of the episode can actually be seen in one of the trailers for Justice League. In a scene where Batman is talking to the Flash, Rick and Morty is playing on one of the monitors in the background, and just happens to be this scene. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of episode 9 of Rick and Morty, and I hope you'll join me next week for Close Encounters of the Rick Kind, where we get the introduction of the Citadel of Ricks. And I'll see you guys next time. Later guys, peace.